Well, hello, hello.
Hello, everyone. We
Hey,
are kicking
Ryan.
off the Southern Fried. What's
You're
going
here.
on over here?
Hey, what's up? Hey.
We'll do a hand clap.
Yeah,
There we go. Oh,
we're in person for the first time, and yeah,
2 years,
since
3 years.
so yeah, I don't remember the last one that we had, but
Okay.
it had to have been before March of 2020,
It
right?
would be, so in Orlando for DNN Summit
That was
2020.
February. We had one right before that. Yeah,
That's right. So we would have met in January 2020. We packed up and went to DNN Summit in Orlando, and everyone in Orlando had a wonderful time. We were all together. The news reports were out there, and when we all finished up DNN Summit, I remember going to Disney World.
I was this guy. I was completely clueless.
We were all clueless. The world was clueless. We were all clueless. But I remember being at Disney World and like getting onto a ride and sitting down, and I thought, I wonder if that COVID thing's going to be a big deal. I mean, boy, like sitting in a ride like this would be a really big deal if it kind of continues spreading. Disney World has a lot of international travel. God, I don't know. And we all just enjoyed ourselves, and we did Star Wars rides and things like that. And pretty much everything fell apart or really hit heavy like 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks after we got back from DNN Summit.
Yeah, it was about 2 weeks when it started. Oh,
this is real. This is happening. Yeah,
they're shutting down the town.
Yeah.
I mean, I was still here sitting at a desk at that point, going, well, if they shut down, am I essential?
Right. Right.
Well, I can't move home. I don't really have a setup to work from home. That was crazy times. It's good to see you.
So yeah, it's the first time that we've been in person, and we could have done this a few times previously, but we either had different commitments or we had different things going on. I mean, early on it was a little bit too early to get together in person, but now today I was like, I can make this meeting. I haven't made like the past 3 meetings in a row. How about I come to your office?
Yeah, so here's the real skinny. We're sitting, we're chatting, I guess, in Slack, going, hey guys, I don't have anybody for this month. What do we do?
Right.
And Ryan's like, why don't we just like get together and hang out? I'll come to your office. And I was like, huh? It's like,
you come where?
What do you mean? You're gonna come to my house, or? And then I realized, oh, he's really talking about meeting in person and being here. I'm like, well, I mean, yeah, I guess I could do that.
Well, David, I tell you what, this is the first DNN, user group meeting that we've had in person in quite a long time. We get to spend time with everybody here online, just like we always appreciate doing. But one more kind of welcoming present that I have for being back physically in person. I have something here for you.
Oh my gosh, I didn't even know. Oh my God.
David and I live in the same town. David passes by my house to go to work.
Let's make this more real.
I go by
less than a mile from each other.
Very much so. I could walk to your house.
Yes, easily.
So the fact that I have this and haven't given it to you in like 3 years is really bad. But I thought I'd bring this over as a welcome back to in-person present. You should show on screen what we have here.
A deck of cards.
This is a deck of DNN playing cards that has David's post-it note on there from when he won, I believe, DNN Jeopardy Christmas 2021 or something of the sort.
It's awesome.
So it is,
and we've seen each other quite a few times.
Yes, each other a few times, and I forget every time.
I mean, we've had oh wait, we didn't go in person to Summit, did we? Yeah, but we met because you were putting together
all the
swag bags and stuff, or things that were, or
you delivered boxes to me, things. Yes, that's right. You've been to my place a few times, but there we go. We have a deck of DNN playing cards, and I have a stack with other people's names on them. I think Daniel Valadas has a name on one. Alessandra has one somewhere. We got a few, so I will try and get those out to as I often say.
Best laid plans of
Eh,
men. Yeah.
They are set aside. They decorate my desk. They'll get chipped out eventually.
Well, it's good to see everybody online. We wish you were all here because we would raise a
even bigger
glass
party.
and just catch up with each other. I know quite a few of us talk to each other all the time, so you know it's fun and everything. But there's nothing like being in person and hanging out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Well, good night, everybody.
It's the start of good things when you all get together.
Now, let me bring up the screen here. We'll see what's going on in the community. So normally we would have something, you know, a little more prepared and all that stuff, but we're literally just going to hang out.
Yep.
And what happens, happens. There's no agenda. So how do I get this to go away? Because it will not go away.
Which go away? We're not seeing
this thing, my Zoom controls.
We don't see yours
disappear. Hey, Daniel, what is that command?
I don't see
Command,
Smash your fist H.
Smash your fist H.
Yes.
That didn't. Oh, there it goes. Boom.
Yeah.
Let's go. Okay, awesome. I'm surprised you didn't see that on the.
I don't see it on the share, but I did see it over there.
Share. Yeah. Okay.
There's no difference for us.
Yeah.
It was really in my way. I've only have one, you know, I've got 6 monitors at home. So going from 6 to 1 is like a major shock.
Like eating dinner with a toothpick.
Exactly. So let's see what's going on. Let me see, since the last time we met. So we had to cancel last month. So that was what, July? So last time we met, I guess, was in June. Let's see what we did in June, because I honestly don't remember. Oh, I'm not logged in on this computer, so let me log in. Yes, I use Facebook for this one. Let's see, let's go to Southern Fried DNN. Let's go to events, and let's go to past events, and let's see what the last viable one was. Oh yeah, okay. So that was June. We canceled July, right? Okay, that makes sense. So, and June was kind of like something crazy happened in May.
Yes.
I was in Greece and had been having great internet connection, and then go to one place, and it was the time for our meetup, and I could not connect. So
you still did it and recorded it and put it online though.
I did. I recorded it. Yep. It's on, this was gonna say here. So up on YouTube on our Southern Fried DNN channel. Yep. Let's go there, and let's go here. And normally I would bring up our website, but somebody's been busy and hasn't really posted any of the last meetups up there. So just in case you missed it, this one transitioning to Google Analytics 4, of course, it's just showing the most popular ones, but you can get the most recent ones. That's the one that was recorded. So I had a meet up with myself and share with everybody. The reason I did that was because it really was an important subject.
It was a time crunch. Everyone is working on this, and everyone that I've talked with in the marketing and search engine marketing side of things, as well as the developer side of things, we've all been dragging our feet to get rolled out with the newer G4 because it might change. And what was involved to get connected was so convoluted compared to what the old was that we were all hoping it was going to get a little better before we had to implement it. And I think since then, they've started to make some things a little simpler.
Yeah.
I would imagine because so many people complained. But David, I followed your step-by-step video instructions to help several clients get through the process of, you know, doing more than just clicking the button to convert to G4, but then going through and setting up the property and setting up the rules and setting up the this and that, and then getting them connected together. And then, oh my goodness.
Yeah, there's a few steps.
It's about 7 clicks that you have to go through to do, and you got to go back and forth. It's like you're wiring up a whole set of communications.
Yeah. So if you're, what I would say is this video is still valid for those that need a little bit of insight.
Oh yeah.
On the Google Analytics side. You know, even if you've already got your GA4 property and you just don't know why something's not working or something like that, this will be a good resource. Now, the funny thing is, when this was done,
you had to put in the code, the DNN. Yeah.
Yeah. So we only had the I would say original, but
UA.
it wasn't original one, the universal
analytics. Yeah.
And we had Google Tag Manager. So in this
Correct.
video, I really went through Google Tag Manager and
Yep.
how to set that up. I think that's still really the best way to do
Yes.
it,
Mhm.
most flexible, but it does require a bit more work. When I came back from DNN Connect, we had a
G4.
technology meeting and decided, we really actually need a new connector
Yes. Yeah.
for this, because everybody can't use Google Tag Manager. For whatever reason, they can't. Either it's a requirement or they don't want to, or I don't know what the case
Sure. Yeah.
use cases really are, but we needed to do that. So I think one weekend we had a co-coding session, and Daniel helped me through some things, and we were able to get that rolled in. And that was the reason for 9.12.0.
Was the release that?
Yeah.
I didn't realize.
So
Okay.
that people, and it was just like what, Daniel, was like a week or two before,
Connect.
well, no, before the end date of when they were going to shut down Universal Analytics.
Oh, okay.
So there was a serious
Time
time
crunch.
crunch,
Yeah.
to give people the ability. So I think I've heard a lot of people are using that new connector. It seems to be working okay for people. So yeah, there's that.
But I agree with your earlier point that if you're really going to make the most out of it, I think Google Tag Manager is a great way to do that, because you then also get other features. And if other systems are not ready for G4, you can, on many of those, use Google Tag Manager.
Exactly,
So you can drop Google Tag Manager, and once you get used to that, that's the new version you run through. Google Tag Manager is going to connect to G4 and get the data going. So I've done that on a number of clients. I've only used the new G4 connector on one.
So some use cases, just in case you're not thinking about what Google Tag Manager really brings you, you may have a situation where you need to track some ad clicks or something like that, that needs something different, like, here's another one. A lot of people use Google Analytics for website analytics, but it doesn't do everything really well. It does a lot of things really well, and some things it doesn't do well. So we use another platform called Clicky Analytics for some of these other things that we need to do. Well, you need to put that script there somewhere. So instead of having to worry about where that's going to go,
You put that in Google Tag Manager.
Manager, and it just injects the script for you.
Okay.
So replace that with anything. Let's say it's a chat widget.
I was just about to say that. We have a client that has a chat widget, and that chat widget comes up for certain customers and certain regional codes. And so that widget's code is in Google Tag Manager rather than being separately embedded into that site. And then they have a lot of purview over saying, regionally, we want this to show and run for this and not for that. And that chat widget also, or in the same set of things, they do phone number replacement. So there's some JavaScript that does some things to make like marketing phone numbers for tracking purposes. So the phone number at the top right of the site will be different if you're in North Carolina than if you're in Florida or what have you. Those all are rolled into Google Tag Manager. Yeah.
Do all kinds of stuff like that. So I think it's it's a good option if you're able to use the Google Tag Manager. Yeah. So a little bit of a rabbit hole there, but
somebody was going to say something and chimed in, and I think I talked over him. Was that Daniel?
No, it was me. I was just going to comment that it was pretty interesting. We had lots of clients to do this for. And even though we did everything and it was all working, done and checked off by the date, a handful of clients who, not many clients actually look at their analytics, in case you're not aware.
I'm coming to that next.
Yeah, the clients suddenly got emails from Google saying, you need to convert your analytics. And I'm like,
right now,
we did everything. And I felt like I got caught with my pants down. And I'm like, but we did it. And all that was wrong was we didn't, on their list, check every single box down the column.
Yes.
And it was so frustrating because then the customers didn't quite believe you, but we had it done.
So one of the things that I found in having to scramble and do this across 50 to 60 customers where Google Analytics was in place before is that many of them had no idea. They don't look at their analytics. They didn't know that anything was changing. They didn't care. If it stopped working, would they notice the difference? I almost feel like there was a point in time where analytics was desperately important for everyone. But then your mom and pop businesses, your people who were doing their daily business work, and search engine marketing isn't a big drive for how they do their work. They realize that they don't care anymore about the analytics. And so they're just not using it. And here we are maintaining this thing and doing all this work. And then I look and I'm like, guys, when's the last time you even logged in? Do you even have a user that logs in anymore? Has anybody looked at this other than me? And
Yeah,
they
how do you
did.
think Google feels maintaining petabytes of data that no one cares about?
Yeah. Actually, guys, from my perspective, the transition I started even last year, like July, because in my case, I do use a lot of Google Ads with my clients. And there's one type of campaign that you run in which you use the audiences from Google Analytics, and you have to have at least 1,000 people on the audiences in order for you to do a thing that is called remarketing. So for those type of clients, you know, definitely you have to run this transition way before July 1st, because otherwise the Google ad campaigns will go to the floor, you know?
Yep.
So
I think
that's another reason, right?
Yeah, I agree. If you're using advertising, if you're doing Google Analytics, if you're doing Google advertising and you are using a lot of things like you mentioned, remarketing, then you need it.
Yeah.
But if you're not, if you're just, I'm trying to think of some of the client examples that I've got, who don't do any online advertising or any online marketing. Their website is a brochure website, or it is a statement to the fact that they're a reliable business, but they're not really advertising. I don't think they care.
Yeah.
Not like they used to.
But it's interesting because we're probably doing more event tracking now since everybody switched to Google Analytics 4. I don't know why, but maybe it's because they've done it in a different way.
I did like some of the features like the scroll tracking and some of those things. Very nice.
And we're doing quite a bit of that kind of thing where, you know, you've got to be able to track specific events. Like I think, Daniel, you might remember this one that we were looking at that it was video playing, I think is what it was. They needed to track when somebody actually started a video, they finished the video, things like that. And it was actually not even public facing. They were just using analytics behind the scenes to be able to, you know, build these reports. And they were building these complex reports to be able to see this information because they're very large organizations. So that was interesting to figure out. And that you've always been able to do event tracking, you know, within Google.
But you have a lot more features.
I guess it was
now.
more hidden, I guess, a little different. So that was kind of our last time together.
What you have on screen is DNN Summit 2024. Want to talk about that for a minute?
Absolutely. What's going on with DNN Summit 2024, Ryan?
I'll tell you, just as much as I've been busy, a little overly hectic, and haven't been able to make all of the SoFri meetings that I want to make. I also have missed a good string of DNN Summit planning meetings, but I think Mark was on here, if not on video, on audio. We can have him come on and share some information, but I'll go ahead and present a couple of different things. First off, DNN Summit 2024 is now being planned and organized for the week of February the 7th and February the 8th, 2024. It is going to be in the same format as it has been the past several years. It's going to be hop-in virtual format.
Why is that? Just curious.
We are building towards the next in-person event. And one of the things that we're seeing is a direct reaction to all of the ups and downs of, are there going to be cancellations? Are people going to be there? We're finding that venues, if you're going to be in person, the minimums are so much higher than they used to be. And the clauses are so much more ironclad that you can't get out of, that it's more risk. It's more risk. to plan an in-person, and it's more costly to plan an in-person. And so we have been planning and discussing the way that we have these, and there may be some more things that we release, especially as we build some excitement and we move forward with them. But for the moment, the February event is online with Hop-In and the same format as the previous. It's going to be a 2-day event. We may have a fewer set of tracks concurrently, because one of the things that we did have was that with all the number of tracks, people were seeing some things but not others and kind of missing. We did have the video recordings, so
which were better this last year.
They very much were, and they're still available now. So actually, I'll pause what I'm talking about to put in another point, that anybody who's watching right now, anybody who is online with us, if you attended DNN Summit 2023, you still have access to all of those videos right now, up until I would probably say February.
I think it was going to be a year.
Yeah, up until the end of January, let's say, you still have full access to watch all of those videos and watch, all of the previous Hop-In recordings that we had from that 2023. We'll have the same functionality again here in 2024.
Yeah.
So David's logging in, and he's going to, go take a look at
watch
things.
Recordings. There we
and
go.
if you go to watch recordings, you get to see your list then of all of the sessions that got recorded for 2023, including
the chats are still there, yeah.
including the DNN pyramid. Let's watch that first. Yeah. If anybody missed DNN pyramid, we did one at Christmas time, but then we also did a different one at DNN Summit, and it was a lot of fun. Anyways, yes, all the sessions are there, and you can still watch them. We'll have that going forward in 2024 as well. But I think I was doing an interrupter in an interrupter, so I'm coming back over to that.
Back to your chip.
Yeah. That this February event is virtual, and we are kicking around ideas for having different formats for some in-person events that have maybe some different goals. In the past, we've had a day of trainings, and we've had other types of events. We are also looking at the idea and then the relaxed nature and difference of how Connect is.
I remember you used to kind of organize the training day that would happen before
the day before.
2 day event.
The last time I did that was in Orlando, and so it's been a while.
Some of the Scott Wilkinson,
absolutely.
Anderson Oliveira,
it just depends.
Ralph Williams.
Ralph Williams has done. Alessandra taught whatever the evoke silly thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, I enjoy doing the day of training, and that's one of the things that I used to run in the in-persons, aside from being gophers and running these things.
Virtual machines.
I enjoyed being the person who got that going together, and we may do that as a day of event. And so anyways, we're kicking around some ideas. I also have access to some things that I didn't have access to a few years ago, including a mountain retreat camp kind of location. So who knows? I might pitch something that becomes a Southern Fried DNN Summit, I don't know, camping event or something. We might have something interesting on a lake. So I'll
hey, you remember back in the day when we actually did our
in person
events?
Oh, Southern Fried, absolutely. That's why
right?
We're called Southern Fried today, because Queen City DNN User Group, QC Doug, got turned into Southern Fried.
We got to take a little bit of a blast from the past. Hey, Daniel Veladas, remember what I sent you the other day, the logo iterations? I found the original logo iterations of QC Doug.
I love those things. They were great.
From back in the day. And so the reason I wanted to interrupt is because Daniel looked at that old propeller logo, right? The
yes.
logo?
Yeah.
And he was like, tell him, Daniel, what did you do? There it is.
What did you do? I want to make my video screen bigger.
I'll stop my screen.
Oh, Daniel, that is a thing of beauty. Look at that.
That's really neat.
Yeah, so I'm into 3D printing, and I've been saying this for like 2 years. One of these days, I have to try and design that logo in 3D and print it. And then I thought that would be a nice fidget spinner and little inexpensive thing to give at conferences. So
Daniel, I
outstanding.
think,
Isn't that great?
Daniel, I think that we will, we'll pitch in and we'll pass you some money for supplies.
It's a big print.
It is,
I
I
mean,
can
it's,
imagine.
that's pretty
Mm.
complex.
We
but-
should pass you some money for supplies and then you build that and that goes out as a personal gift to
No, you know what he says?
any old school DNNers. You have to have been
No.
running DNN 6 and below to get one of those from you.
Daniel, let me help you out here a bit. He doesn't
That's a good
want
one.
money for the supplies. He wants money for the time.
Yeah, sure. Same thing. Because you're gonna print it and 16 of them are gonna fail.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
No, it's a long print because like to do it, like it's a strange shape, right?
Yeah.
So if
No,
you
that's
print midair,
beautiful.
it's very hard. So it's long to print. It's an hour and 20
Yeah.
minutes a piece. But yeah, but
Really cool.
yeah,
Really, really
yeah.
cool.
Daniel, that is absolutely an MVP move right there. That
Mhm, mhm.
Yeah, when the next round of MVP, whatever it's gonna be, I've heard a little bit of
what?
talk about this.
You
I
what?
mean,
Okay, sorry. Pause.
Mhm.
Pause.
we'll come back to that.
Let me
We'll
let me
see.
let me finish up DNN
Yeah.
Summit 2024, and then
Okay, bring
let
back-
me ask you about the MVP. So DNN Summit 2024. We have the ability to register, and it's important to register early, even more than in the past, because if we get more signups early on that we know are happening, we might kind of like stretch goals. We might add some more things into this event. So it's important that we get as many of us who we know that we're going to be participating and doing to go ahead and begin registration. Additionally, I believe we have the request for speakers out.
Mhm.
Can you correct me
No, it is.
if I'm
It is.
wrong?
It is.
I
right.
know we've got sponsors. There we go.
speakers.
Call for speakers. It is out. So we have the call for speakers, and this is where I need to chide our DNN community. We know who our common speakers are. We know the folks who are pitching new ideas and refreshing old ideas and giving presentations. There is no, concern with saying, "Hey, I gave a presentation on X topic in 2021, and I'm going to do a revised version of that now in 2024." That's a great idea. Please don't wait until the last minute to pitch your session, because inevitably that happens. We run until the call for speakers closes on September the 29th. On September the 30th, all of us regulars go, "Oh crap, I forgot to submit. Let me call Mitch.
Hey, Mitch,
Hey, Mitch, can you please let me
Yeah,
in? Can you? Oh my God." So
I'm early this year.
I was gonna say, who's a good boy and already?
yeah,
did
can you all please submit sessions in the
Daniel's
next
already submitted this.
Mhm.
Let's do it later tonight. Let's do it tomorrow. Let's do it now. Don't wait until the end of the month.
But I gotta think.
Because think about it.
Wow.
September the 29th, that's next Friday, next two
No,
Fridays out?
next month. This is
August,
August.
sorry, September. I have a camping trip on the 29th. Okay,
Yeah.
August. Anyways, so
Don't freak me out.
well,
okay?
you got 2 weeks. Get it done in 2
Yeah.
weeks. Okay, so yes, in-person events coming in the future, and we're planning towards those. Here, 2024, February is going to be virtual, and we'll talk more in the Hangouts about some other ideas. And when we're off doing what we normally do in SoFri, where we hang out and shoot the breeze after the meeting, I'll pitch to you some ideas and see what people get excited about. You said you heard something about MVP?
There's a little bit of talk about it, like.
Because it's us otherwise.
I mean, here, I gotta take the opportunity and just ask you, what is an MVP?
No, that's your quote.
That's my thing,
What is
right?
MVP?
So, the thing is, the last time that they revitalized the program. And I said,
Yep.
they, I mean, we as a community,
We basically
revitalized
named it
this.
and said that we were going to do it. And
It
we
was
did.
actually done right before, I mean.
Right before the release
now,
of
hold on,
DNNcommunity.org.
hold on. No, it was before that.
Yeah, it was before that.
It was before Clint Patterson left DNN Corp.
You're right. It was kind
Which
of
was right before the.
it was kind of a setup of, hey, let me do this, and then I'm out the door.
So he
Yeah.
really helped facilitate
That's correct.
that last time. Now, what happened was,
What had happened was,
you know, they had a module
yes,
okay.
yeah.
that was designed to facilitate voting
Yep.
for DNN VPs. In the even more older past, it worked really well
Mhm.
because people were pretty objective about the thing. I would say there were probably more, it's not true for now, but I mean, like when this happened, there was more activity in open source projects and stuff like that. And it was pretty obvious who was doing what and what they were doing
Mhm.
and if they were doing that kind of thing. So it was it worked. Now, when it was used this last time, what happens is a lot of people across the pond would say, well, they're pretty nice people, right? Well, I mean, I don't know if I know that person, but I mean, yeah, if somebody must have put their name on the list, so yeah, they deserve to be an MVP. So what it became is everybody voted yes for everybody.
You used to have you used to have like 50% of the current MVPs vote for you.
That's
coming
true.
in
that was
to become a new MVP.
And to get on the list, you had to be nominated by an MVP to get on the list.
Yes.
So
yes,
you know,
there were some things.
So the point is, they're rethinking that. And I say I mean, anybody that wants to be a part of the conversation, join. I think it's actually happening on the community.
I was going to ask, it's happening in the community,
and
I think it's part of the outreach and Will Stroh's group.
I think so. Yeah. So if you don't know or didn't know already, the awareness team, you know, has kind of been repurposed, if you will. I mean, it's still the awareness team and everything, but it's not the same goals and objectives that they were back when Andy Treva set up the, up the whole eco advisory system or whatever it's called, ecosystem advisory group. So Will has been meeting with a smaller group of people to kind of get things done. And they've been doing quite a bit. You may have noticed there's been tons of releases on the community forums module. There's been some things behind the scenes related to this website and the expectations, of a new design there that actually got designed a long time ago, but there's actually a theme now, at least the first iteration of a theme. So my point is they're getting things done and stuff now. So it's really kind of cool to see that happening. I think they're talking about it not being in the same format. So you may be familiar with, like, if you have ever voted for the .NET Foundation board members, they do a ranking vote. So basically your vote is to rank people in the list. So that way you're not voting yes or no for everybody. You're actually
reordering the list.
You're just ordering who you believe is, should get
and then the top 10 new people each year become a new MVP or something like that.
Well, I mean, in that case, it was a board member nominations and get in. But it's basically so everybody kind of votes, but it's not really a yes or no vote. It's a ranking kind of vote. So they're talking about something like that, maybe. So if you're interested, please let your voice be heard about it.
Go to the community forums and start talking.
I think it's valuable to have the program. It just hasn't been touched in a while, and there's just a bunch of people out here. So
very interesting.
So that's kind of cool. What else is going on in DNN? DNN platform. Let's see, the last release.
Newest release is 9.12, and you kind of talked about that just a minute ago.
Yeah, and now that Jeremy has updated a bunch of client websites,
that is always the case.
We're gonna release 9.12.
Absolutely. Last weekend did 4 of them. So yeah, go ahead.
It will be coming soon. There's a couple of things that are being waited on here, and I know Daniel stepped away a little bit, but he might still be on audio. Daniel, do you have anything to add as to like what we're kind of waiting on for 9.12.1, or is it just a matter of finding the time to actually hit the proverbial button? He gone. So I think since
I'm sorry. Can you repeat the question?
Oh, man.
We
Hey, do you
said,
have any updates on DNN platform release? When we should expect to see the next release, and what's the what are you waiting on?
So a clean install of the current development branch is working good, but an upgrade scenario, we have a little glitch with one of the libraries, sharp zip lib, I believe.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But yeah, so we need to iron that out and get the release out the door. Probably next week, but it's not a promise.
Okay. Yeah. So I mean, Jeremy, you get a week reprieve. I would say there's no problem that you went to 9.12.0. It's been working pretty good for everybody that I've seen so far. So
Right, or I wouldn't have put it in there. It's rare that I install a .0, but the .12 really seemed like 9.11.3 to me. So when it
Yeah.
it was, we literally had to do 9.12 because of the GA4 extension was a new feature. So semantically speaking, it
a new
minor
feature added has to be a new. Yeah, I got it.
Yep. So yeah, if you haven't upgraded already, please upgrade. Always need to be on the latest and greatest, because I believe there were a few security things that were addressed here, and some that'll probably be addressed in the 9.12.1 release as well. On the community site. So biggest thing I wanted to kind of, and I know we're taking longer on announcements, but we're kind of just hanging out and having some things to talk about. There's been quite a bit published out here from Will Stroll, who has been on a freaking tear, releasing new versions of things that already existed or completely new things. One of the completely new things that he has released is a user and role management module, and this thing looks pretty good. I was like impressed. It seems like the big benefit here is it's not a persona bar module. It can be placed on a page, and you can give permissions
to non-admin.
roles.
So it's non-role, non-hosted, non-admin, so they can have this access.
So you could have a user manager role, and let those people manage users. It looked pretty good. I won't play the video, but I will scrub through it just so you can see a preview of what it looks like. If I can get to the, so this is cool. He actually demos one of their other new releases. They put a couple of new commands in their DNN prompt extensions. And one's called set demo users. It automatically creates a bunch of demo users for you. And then there's another command to delete all those users. So think about how many times this would be.
I do this all the time, and I thoroughly appreciate that he's got Tony Stark and Diana Prince in there, but he also has Ray in there. But me personally, all of our demo users are presidents. We have George Washington through, and we always do presidents for our demo users. So I would love to build my own custom set. Ethan Hunt, Wade Wilson, Hermione.
So I'm not playing audio now, but you can kind of get the gist of what this thing's about. It looks pretty slick, modern. It's actually SPA combined with MVC. Not sure why, but yeah, it is that. And you can basically assign a role and allow that role to be able to manage those.
And it's more than just viewing the thing. Some can have the ability to edit users and others can't. So they could see and manage and work with them, but they can't edit them. That's fantastic. Yeah, this looks sharp. Way to go, Will Stroll.
Yeah, so that was a brand new release of something that we had not seen before. So that was really nice. Then he also, I'll let this kind of keep showing while we're talking, but he also released new version we just mentioned of the DNN prompt commands that they've got on that. There was also a new release of, yep, I'm gonna have to go back
You
to
said
the
the
blog
forum.
for this. Well, yeah, he's involved in a lot of that as well, but John Henley has been contributing a
Okay.
ton of updates.
Yep.
Yeah, this is a detailed view of a user now, so
Yep.
quite a bit better layout, than what you normally are dealing
Mhm.
with, and some additional information that's being shown there as well. See if I can get. Yeah, he was talking about security and, oh, you don't have permissions to do this, and so
Very
yeah,
nice.
and roles management as well on this. Yeah, I'll get out of that, and I will get out of that, and yep, I'll get out of that. And, where was I at? Over here, yeah. So if we go back a little bit, okay, so the Pendo prompt stuff, that's the DNN prompt extensions, and that. Oh yeah, this one. This was something net new as well. I'm still trying to wrap my head around this one as to why somebody would want this, but basically what it is a new authentication flow for logging into DNN. So basically you say, hey, I want to log in, you give the email address, it sends you an email and you have a magic link and it logs you in.
Slack
It's
style.
fantastic.
I don't like that.
Fantastic. We have a client using it. It's great.
Okay.
Yeah, basically Slack is doing the same thing. You can fight your way to get back to a username and password, but if given Slack's preferences, you want to log in on some different computer, it's going to send you a link to your email. You're going to click there. You're going to come back again. No passwords. I get it.
I wonder how it's gonna work when you have multiple DNN sites, because one of my biggest beefs with Slack about this, it doesn't work for me because
You're on
part
14
of
different
13 or 14
yes.
different workspaces, so
Yep.
it's like, okay.
What if you had the same email address and multiple different user accounts?
Exactly. And you have to have behind the scenes, it's different user accounts. It's
Mhm.
not
Yep.
for each workspace.
Be very interesting, but I
Yeah.
love the idea and I definitely see the need for it, especially on sites for less technical people who the user audience really just wants to be very simple about it.
That's exactly what we did. I won't say who.
Yeah, so he's got videos for each of these. Fantastic effort there.
Very
And
neat
then
idea.
Also a new version of the Pendo DNN generator, which is a kind of a scaffolding tool for developing modules. Yep, that was it. Yeah, so a lot of activity there.
That is a lot of
Kinda
stuff. We'll stroll heart of it all. We should ping him and have him come show up
Yeah.
next month or two, and he can come talk with us about it.
So
Hey,
that,
David, if you don't mind real quick, because he did such a good job on it, go back to Will Stroll's GitHub, one of his GitHubs, and show his sponsor page. He
yeah, I
has
was
a-
actually just gonna show
okay.
this on one of these here. One of the things that he's doing, and I think it's great, because if you're gonna be giving away a bunch of stuff for free and let other people use it, with that, I mean, yeah,
Giving the ability
show
to
a
do
little bit of
sponsorship.
love, say, hey, thanks,
yeah.
and even if it's a one-time.
We talked about
gift,
that at the summit and all the other things. It's easy to do in GitHub now that you can sponsor people.
And I thought he had a link.
He had a link right there. It says
there it is.
GitHub sponsors.
Oh, that's not
No,
the
back.
link that I was looking for.
Right here. It's
There it
next
is.
paragraph down.
There it is. Okay, thank you. Yeah, so basically different people have theirs set up a different way,
Yeah.
or whatever. And he's got everything as low. I mean, you can do a one-time gift or a monthly gift here. So, show a little bit of love. I mean, that's definitely beneficial to the community. And I think he's done a lot here that he's worked on. So
I will tell you that I should, because I sponsor a few different people, but I don't know that I've chipped in for Will. And I'm looking right there. My favorite one in that list is the DNN Restart app. There are a number of DNN instances where we may not have access to remote desktop. We may not have access to the application pool. And we want to control that DNN instance restarting every morning. So restart 2 a.m. every morning before the people come into work. Make sure that DNN instance is fresh instead of just waiting for it to restart on its own when the app pool is gonna. And if we don't have proper access, man, this DNN Restart app, I have dropped it onto so many sites recently. where again, we don't have more control. It's on a shared server. We don't have full access. This is a fantastic way to let DNN do that. And he's made it so very easy and done beautiful instructions on how to set this up. I love this thing. It's in my toolbox now for kind of must-have additions into DNN. So
So
I should absolutely sponsor it.
So correct me if I'm wrong. I think you install the module, then you place it on a page.
No, you don't have to.
Oh, you don't place
you
it.
install the module because it's going to be installed. The DLL needs to be there and it needs to install. However, it goes into the scheduler. So you go into the scheduler and he has the the standard values that you want to put in for that. You then put it in. As long as your DNN scheduler is running correctly, then you're in great shape.
I see. And he's got a YouTube video here showing how to use a scheduler. So that's an ad, but yeah, it's there.
Yeah.
That's great. So yeah, applaud all around or claps all around for Will. Thank you for your efforts there. Don't know if you ever watch these, but if you're watching, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Let's see. I don't have a whole lot more other than I think I briefly mentioned earlier, but the forums have gotten quite a bit of love lately. And once you start using them, you'll find out, oh, okay, that kind of works now. Oh, that works now. And they've got a long roadmap ahead on this, but it's really kind of cool to see that. I mean, I've never been a forums person too much myself, even when they do work. But seeing all the improvements, I have to admit, it's been kind of motivating to me to, okay, they're putting all this work into this. I need to participate a little bit more in that fashion. So
there are still forums, and I'll mention this as a plug to anybody who's watching this, that thinking of how they want to get involved. If you've been to DNN events, you've probably heard me say this a couple of different times, but back when I decided to get involved with DNN community activities was around 2008, 2009. And I decided that instead of just participating and receiving from the community, I was going to give back and put into the community whatever I knew or whatever I had built some experience in. And at the time, it was things like iFinity URL rewriter or
I'm impressed you remember the name.
I mean, I got that one. That one rolls off the tongue. But no, I was trying to think of the guys that was Page Blaster. Your Page Blaster?
Yeah,
Synapses guy. Yeah. So anyways, I knew things about those.
Synapses.
And I said, you know what? For every forum post I ask a question, before I can ask a question, I'm going to try and answer or comment on or add to 2 posts. So if I go to ask a question before I can ask, I've got to look and see if I can help somebody else. And that was my commitment to give into the DNN community more than I was taking out.
There you go.
And it kind of then stretched into all kinds of other things. I said, hey, there's a Queen City user group over here. I should stop by sometime. And there we go.
I remember the first night you showed up.
I looked confused. I was like, hey, am I in the right place?
We were in Huntersville, I believe.
Yes, you were.
At that point,
in that
at
room.
Alan Foster's company.
A big table in a small room. We all kind of had to walk around in a circle
like
to
a
get
pretty
into
tight
it.
area.
Yeah. And I still remember some of the people that I met then that I thought, man, are they still around? What are they doing? Well, so anyways, getting back onto the thread, the forum. I still use I still use things where I've fixed something in the past and I think, oh, that's right. How did I do that 2 years ago when I ran into that problem? And I'll Google it and then I'll find a forum post and I'll look and there's my own answer down to the bottom of that where I said, hey, think so-and-so, that really helped me, blah, 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 blah. And I add more keywords that are the way I would search for the thing.
Yeah.
And it turns out that 2 years later, I used it and I found my own post. I'm like, oh, thank you, B.
That was a good idea. Yeah.
So
That happened to me too.
The forum is still a great place to post content. Check it out.
You know, I just thought of something too. I probably should highlight this because this will be a little sneak peek type thing. So unless you're watching GitHub activity, you probably wouldn't know that this is actually happening. But you know, at DNN Connect, so there's a few people here that went to DNN Connect, Daniel and Marco, Let's see, anybody else that went? No, I think that's it. So remember that session that we had that was like absolutely chaotic and, fun and ideas just flowing out and like these sticky notes going up on the board of ideas and in different columns. And
Oh, I like
and
that.
then
Sounds fantastic.
it was a true, kind of brainstorming session, but it was facilitated really well. I mean, it was still chaotic for my mind. I wanted to walk out, not because I was mad, but because I just couldn't handle all the flurry of activity. But it was really cool. And some ideas got put up there, and eventually at the end, they got ranked, where you actually put a dot on it. Everybody got 5 dots, and there's all these stickies up here of different ideas for DNN. Oh, by the way, there were only 2 up there under the issues column. Everything else was
New
all
ideas
the
and
new
features.
ideas. It was a
Fantastic,
great thing, right? So everybody gets 5 dots. And your dots, you go and put it on 5 sticky notes, or you could put all 5 on 1 sticky note if you really were that passionate about that idea. So that happened, and then they just ranked them all, right? Well, you may think, yes, okay, that was fun or chaos, whatever you want to call it. Nothing will ever come of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Nope, things have come of it. So one of the ideas that was up there was I don't remember how it was worded, but it was basically this concept. You know how like if you're using GitHub or some other platform and you can go and actually create an app token.
Yeah.
To be able to access that system from the context of another app, but it's not a user, it's an
association with it's getting a communication back and forth. Yeah.
So
we do those all the time in Slack and things like that. Yeah.
Exactly. GitHub does this.
Yeah.
I mean, I know a lot of platforms that have this concept of app tokens. Well, a PR was recently merged into DNN from Peter Donker to create this feature within DNN of app tokens based system. That's not
very useful.
It's not the typical JWT kind of thing.
It's not a connector. It's a different kind of thing.
Yeah. So I have an application I need to build, and it needs to communicate with DNN. I don't want to have to worry about renewing that token or whatever. But it's a UI as well to manage that.
It's probably one of the newer features that I've heard pitched that doesn't have some existing equivalent or some existing basis. This is a new kind of new ground that we haven't been through before.
Totally new for DNN.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can find this here real quick. Wow, this is a little far back. Then I guess I can look for, let's see, token maybe. There it is, support for API tokens. Here's the PR. Let me see, there's an issue here as well. Oh, well, let me reference the issue. Nope, that's a small one, but is this it, Daniel? Is this the long term? Yeah, I think this is it. Yeah. So there's a lot of, you can read up on this and kind of see where things landed, but it's issue 5611 out here. And quite a bit of information back and forth on scoping of things and how that all works with these, but basically got this idea of user and a portal and a host for it. But yeah, kind of cool to see something totally new come in.
That is really cool.
Platforms. That'll come in DNN 10, by the way. That is
that would be a future
slated
point.
For that. It's a major addition to it. But I think Peter and them must have had some client too that needed this, and there was a bit of motivation. So I bring that up because that's something I'm seeing more and more people do. You know, when you're working with your clients and they need something, and you're like, well, I mean, probably do that and contribute. Are you okay with being part of DNN? Oh yeah, we'd love that. Oh, cool. So maybe
now we do that.
You can get, some pay for it, or you split. I know we've done a lot of stuff where if something comes up and somebody wants it bad enough, but it needs to be part of the open source thing, we'll like kind of share the cost of it, if that makes sense. The client doesn't have to pay normal ours because
100%.
we're doing it for open
Yeah,
source as
there's
well.
a benefit.
So there's that kind of synergy. I mean, there's all kinds of things, but I've seen more and more of that happening. So it's kind of cool.
So you were kind of hitting the end of community things, and we were talking about different parts of it. In the spirit of roundtable, as we kind of reach the last half of our meeting here, why don't we kind of talk with the group here and do a little bit of roundtable? What's going on? What's important? And what have you been doing lately? If it's okay, I'm the one talking at the moment. I'll go first, and we'll pass it around.
Yeah, let's go for it.
I'll tell you, for More Creative Company, things have been exceptionally busy lately. We've put more hours in every, couple of week billing period, just repeatedly over and over and over again. And it's nothing special, nothing new and exciting. It's just everybody needs a little something. And it's like we're all waking up from 2 years of doing the bare minimum, and now everyone is just wanting a little bit of something, and it's a lot of stuff going on. I'm not to the point yet where I need to hire another person to fill a role, but whereas 2 years ago I thought, no, we're not thinking about adding anyone to the team. Lately I've been like, man, when do we need to add somebody else to the team? So it's kind of nice to feel that busy, but it's exhausting at the same time.
Yeah. Exactly.
DNN sites and things. We've got some exciting new projects that we're building and working on that are going to be kind of reporting on and displaying APIs. We did some work with Arizona courts back a couple of years ago. Actually, a couple of years ago, when you mentioned COVID, it becomes 4 years ago instantly. We did some API work where we were fetching and retrieving and also returning and posting content. And so we'd done some stuff with DNN where we enhanced XMod Probe so that it could communicate with APIs just like it was doing database calls. And so we have some new projects. We're going to be doing some things like that. Have been doing a fair amount of updates to existing DNN instances to either finish with difficult upgrades, things where maybe the owner of that DNN instance has tried to upgrade a few times in a row and they failed, or they've gotten errors. We've kind of come back along and helped them get those upgrades completed to get them from 9.2 where they were stuck up to 9.11. We've done some performance updates. We had a couple of client sites where either they had IIS and app config issues that were causing problems that were just slowly limiting the use of their site or their performance, or making it painful to use their site. So we've done that on a couple of different sites. So we've just been doing lots more of the same. Lots of DNN instances. I would say that probably some of the evoke side grades have calmed down. There was a period of time where I was doing 5 or 6 of those a month, and now it's been a couple months since I've done one. So maybe that's good. But that's kind of where we are, what we've been doing. What am I looking forward to in DNN in the future? I don't know. It's just so much with the upgrades of different DNN instances. We still have a couple of our own that are sitting around on a high level of 8 or a low level of 9, that when I get the chance, I'm looking forward to finally getting those through, because there's no longer anything that holds those back. We can absolutely upgrade anything from DNN 7 straight up to 9.12 without thinking about it too heavily, because any of the problems that we used to encounter that were so difficult, they're just common now. We just get through them.
That's great.
Looking forward to finally being out of some of the older DNN number instances.
Wow, sounds like you've been busy. I just realized that because our mic is connected to my computer, it was focusing on me, so I just highlighted.
Oh, I see what you did. Okay, there we go.
Who else?
Go.
Let's see.
Jim's next in the list. Why don't you go, and we'll kind of head Jim next and Daniel Veladas next after that.
Well, actually, I'm more of a client than anything.
Good.
We're working with David and Daniel actually on some customizations for a DNN instance that we're running. We're actually the reason that Too Sexy had to go FIPS compliant because we're actually we're the F in FIPS
Yes.
for federal. So David helped usher that part along for us also. We have been using DNN version 7.2 or 4, I forget which it was, since 2013. And David and Daniel helped us get up to 9. I think we're sitting on 98 right now. Earlier this year, and then continuing with just customizations and some custom programming that we need.
That's excellent. And that's a good shout out to mention that Too Sexy now has an ability to be FIPS compliant, because not everything does. And in the past, that was a big burden or hurdle for especially a lot of military work.
Yeah, any
big
government stuff usually is, the stuff.
Yep.
Most of it's that way. So yeah, it's good to see
And
that.
because it was something that we didn't even notice it until we went on to the newer servers, because we'd been up on a
They left you
just
alone.
internally.
as long
We
as
had
you weren't updating.
internally
As soon
we
as
had
you went to a
actually
new server,
increased.
you had to do it.
Well, we went up to we were running on, I think, 2016. So it was, on 2016, it wasn't an issue, but as soon as we went to 2019, all of the FIP stuff was on by default and forced and everything else on us.
Yep.
So, and that's when we hit the first snafu with the upgrade.
For sure.
Who's next on your
Oh,
list?
so Daniel is next, and up next after that is Steve.
So let me share my screen here.
Sure.
That one. I released this week DNN Elements new beta 0.20.1. I don't know if anybody is using them. They're minor bug fixes and little UI polishing stuff. For those who are not using them or not familiar with them, DNN Elements is a set of web components that you can reuse in anywhere you can put HTML, basically. So you can use them in a SPA module, MVC, web forms, in the context of Too Sexy, what have you, if you need like reusable controls that have a common style, right? They're all defined by CSS variables that you could have on your theme, but in DNN 10, there will actually be a way to change your branding colors, and then that just magically styles everywhere they are consumed. And there's very, very simple things like buttons and stuff, but the gist of it is that they're really simple to use. You, instead of doing an HTML button, you do a DNN button, and that's it. And then there's stuff you can customize, and they may or may not have little features attached to them. For instance, the old DNN UI UX had a modal, a confirmation button, right? So basically, if I want it to be confirmable, I just need to make it confirmable. And now the code would become this, just put confirm in it. And if you click, then you need to confirm. Well, you're supposed to have to confirm. Let me get the demo that's working.
You got to put text and things, otherwise it's partially empty.
Yeah, then we have something to fix with Storybook. But this one is working. So basically, you have a confirmable button. You can confirm. You can set up the messages you want to show and stuff. And you can accept or refuse and attach events. But there's a bunch of them: checkboxes, chevrons, collapsibles. For instance, a collapsible here, which you can nest, and they all are aware. This example is a bit more complex, but they're little pieces of reusable components. You want to upload images. There's an image cropper right here where you can upload an image or take a picture. Let's take fake image. I don't know what that is, but yeah. Oh well, that might face from another day, and I need to fix the storybook to contain this. But basically, you can take a picture or upload an image, and then you can crop it in the browser. Now, this picture did not touch the server; it's on the browser only. And I can confirm the crop, and it's going to give me a 600 by 600 image. And this is what would upload to the server.
Yeah.
So it's an image cropper that happens in the browser. There's a bunch of small stuff like this, and there's a couple bigger ones, like, for instance, Monaco Editor, which we did not write, but it's the editor that comes with the VS Code, basically. And that can work in the browser. So we simply created a wrapper around it so that you don't have to do all the complex setup to have a Monaco editor. So all you need to type is basically DNN Monaco editor, provide the language and its value, and you're done.
The rest
And
of content. Yeah.
yeah, and boom, now you have a full-fledged HTML editor that's going to help you with completion and stuff, and possibly validation and this and that. It supports a bunch of languages, so if it's in the Razor context, you can switch it to Razor, and now you're going to have like syntax highlighting for Razor, and so on and so forth. In that spirit, one of the components I plan to add soonish is an HTML editor called Judit, which is a modern HTML editor, all TypeScript based, which is way more easy to maintain and stuff. It's MIT licensed, so that can be reused. And we are starting to discuss in DNN 10 possibly revamping the HTML editor. And this is one of the options that's currently investigated for the default HTML editor that would come with DNN. It's a big can of
Hey,
worms.
let me put a footnote on that just to connect the dot. The reason for that discussion is because CK editor is end of life.
Really?
So, yeah. Well, CK editor 4 is the end of life. So we've got to make some hard decisions, I think, for what to do. And that the wrapper that's around all that in DNN is
Massive.
Yeah.
Yeah. And configuration and plugins and this and that. So yeah, if you use HTML editor a lot, it's something to start thinking about, because we're going to have to make some hard decisions. CK editor 5 license is not compatible for an open source project like ours.
Yeah, that's the crux of it.
I see.
So
Well, it has always been built that DNN can switch out the HTML editor that is in use.
absolutely.
And if we, have, 1 or 2 that are in the wings,
Mhm.
we move to those and that becomes part of it. And
Yeah.
Did I hear you volunteering to write that?
Yeah, that would definitely be me. That would be my kind of thing. You're right.
Yeah, so it's
Yeah, all
always
we
been
have
a
to do is
provider.
just put it out, right? Yeah.
If we rewind back like maybe 5 or 6 years, there was like 3 options around, but the only one that actually got maintained was the DNN Connect CK editor, which uses CK editor 4. And yeah, that's becoming end of life, and 5 is not doesn't play nice with our license. So
FCK editor.
Yeah, that's a fun footnote. FCK. I was glad when they changed that.
FCK editor.
There was also the RAD editor.
RAD editor.
RAD editor was one option.
There's
which
been
is Telerik,
plenty
so,
of them out there. This Judit seems personable, but there's Tiny MCE. There's all kinds of things.
Tiny MCE.
There's multiple options that are being looked at, and but
I'll be out there waving the flag. Can we have Markdown built in? I want to wave that flag.
That's what Monaco editors for.
Did you just volunteer for?
That's what I heard, Daniel.
My success at volunteering hasn't been great. Really busy lately.
So, I mean, I don't want to promise anything, but do they have a search here? Is there a search somewhere?
It was at the top right. You on the previous.
Oh, was it?
Oh no, it's not. That's a GitHub icon. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, my bad.
Well, I mean, that's
You
one.
have to tell Google, take the site and put colon after it, and then put your word in there. Yeah.
I put the word and I do site colon thing.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, site colon domain. And then
I think it's. I did it already. I searched. It's not there yet.
Didn't see that, man.
Also, just leave that all out. Put the domain and the search word in there, and it'll get it.
Yeah. Arguments.
There are so many WYSIWYG editors at this point. It's ridiculous.
Yes.
And any concept of writing a wrapper, a provider, and somehow managing its settings and extensions, multiple possibilities, just hurts my brain. I don't.
So I have already wrapped this one into a web component on private projects for clients. So I know it's well supported, it works nice and everything. And we have something as simple as the Monaco editor to use, which is great. And then there's a bunch of settings, which is just a JavaScript object or JSON. So from a configuration standpoint, it's easy. The code view, if you switch, between code and I don't know, user-friendly WYSIWYG mode, this is customizable. So we could use inside of this Monaco editor. And then the other big hurdle is managing images and files, uploads and stuff. So that's an extension point to it. And we already have a file manager in DNN, so maybe we can just reuse it in here to manage that, but we have to handle the permissions and this and that.
Beautiful manager these days.
Yeah,
Quite
so it's still massive work.
Well, I tell you what, Daniel, let me bump down the road.
So,
let's have Steve say hi and
another 10 seconds.
10 seconds. Yeah.
Saturdays, we are doing open source co-coding sessions, usually every Saturday at 7, unless people suggest other times. I'm flexible, but that's the plan at least, where we just code together and have a drink and
Saturdays
chat.
on Discord, right?
Correct. If you are not on Discord, on the community website, on the bottom of the homepage, there's where you can join our Discord. And that's it.
Very nice. That is awesome.
Awesome stuff, Daniel.
Thank you.
Steve up next, and then Jeremy after that.
So I've been busy starting a new little project where I've been forcing myself to learn all the new stuff that Daniel has added to Sexy, the pro code stuff. It looks awesome, but my gosh, it's an awful lot. And so I'm sort of, I don't need to use virtually everything that he's got there, but I think it will be good for me in the long run, especially starting on an easy project.
Nice.
And the other thing that I've been doing, speaking of DNN Summit, is one of the presentations I enjoyed most was Daniel's presentation on funny code. I have to say that I recognized an awful lot of the code in my own code. I was working on a big project and I was desperate to get it done fast. And my God, I had spaghetti code all over the place. So I rewatched the video and I'm now sort of going, I'm not going to make any money on this, right? Like the project's done, but I'm thinking it's good for learning. And if I ever have to improve the project, it'll be a hell of a lot better because my code is bloody unreadable. Like it's just like Daniel. I'm thinking, Daniel, were you breaking into my computer and stealing stuff for your DNN Summit talk? Because I'm thinking I got crap like that all over. So that's keeping me busy. So both those things are good for learning.
Nice. There might be a follow-up this year that's going to touch a little bit on those examples. I submitted 3 sessions, one about project management, one about dependency injection, and one about unit testing, well, testing in general. And I might take some of those examples of bad code and use them with dependency injection and testing and how to revamp old stuff.
Very cool.
Cool.
Very cool.
Jeremy,
you're up.
I don't have much. The 2 main things I'm working on lately have both dragged me back in time. I have a client this client went away and I never really understood why. I was sad and I pouted. Anyhow, they came back after 3 years and asked us to do some stuff that's really cool. And I'm like, oh, well, you got to upgrade the site. Well, let's get this stuff done first and then we'll upgrade the site. So it's on DNN 932 and it's an old version of Too Sexy. So I've been doing work and I have to go backwards in time on all the stuff I've been learning and do things the old way.
The old way.
Yeah. And the problem is Daniel keeps updating his docs and all the old stuff keeps vanishing. And I know David's laughing very honestly here because he suffered through this too. It's like, I know I did this exactly in 2021. The docs aren't there. It's crazy. And then we have another one, you know, all the time I
It
tell
used to have that
nobody's
problem.
really interested in analytics at all. And we suddenly have this client who every single day, well, how do I figure out this? I need to get in and do that. Can we add these events so that we need to understand which buttons are being clicked on? And it's actually really cool to see somebody so engaged and interested. So we're getting to go back and relearn some things in the new GA4. So stuff like that. It's all DNN stuff, but doesn't feel new or
You're not
sexy.
breaking new ground. You're treading old ground and remembering how something was done. What's the story, David, there with the so in Too Sexy, the older documentation is not as available as the newer documentation?
No, I mean, most of it's obsolete anyway.
Right.
It's just,
Not if you're working in an old version.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, the
That's-
old
yeah,
version, you have
exactly.
to know
Yeah.
how you used to be able to do something for,
Yeah.
you know, this block is applicable all the way up to 9.0. And after 9.0, then it would be this block. No?
Well, they've implemented.
There
a bunch
any of
like
you
that.
that know about it to go find the tag toolbar docs for doing things like cover and settings. They're not there.
I know.
Oh, that's painful.
Yeah.
That's painful. Yeah, I
Well,
would be
but
remiss.
the argument is that there's new ways of doing this that are better, but I mean, to Jeremy's point, I mean, we don't always have the luxury
ability,
of
yes.
upgrading everybody to the newest version.
You know, Jeremy, you can always just switch your tool set and work in Xmod Pro. It's been the same code for the last 11 years, and it works on DNN4 all the way up through DNN9, and you can do everything you've always wanted to do with exactly the same code.
You're talking to somebody
Yeah.
who truly loved and invested in Xmod years ago. You probably remember some of my support tickets way back, but I did move on from that stuff, but you know, I still have had to
Oh,
go.
you were just talking about going back in time. You could just go way back in time.
I know. I did have a project about a year and a half ago where I had to go show one of the employees how to do some Xmod, and after getting about a third of the way through it with him, I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm taking over. I can't show you this much interesting. I had to take over. It was horrible. I swore I try really hard to delegate as a business owner, and I had to take over. And
You
I
didn't in that one. Well, I tell you what, next up in our list, Mark was walking a second ago, so he's up if he wants it. So it either goes to Mark or it goes to Marco. Let's see who comes on off of mute first. Marco is off of mute. Hi, Marco. What you been up to
yes.
lately? What are you thinking about?
Hey guys. Well, from my perspective, and Dave and Daniel knows a little bit more about that. I'm from Costa Rica, and I own a digital agency that specializes on web design and then moving on to marketing, especially with Google Ads, Facebook ads, social media, etc. So I've been using DNN from day one with the agency, and it's been 12 years now. And that's the only thing I do. I've been developing over 100 websites in those 12 years. Yes, and for me, DNN, it's been a massive game changer because it allowed me to, right now, for example, we know of, because we do semester reports to each client about their websites. And right now we have accountable over 40 websites down here in Costa Rica that are placed on the first page at Google organically, you know, just doing SEO.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, so it has different, the formula has different elements, but one of the most important ones, it's DNN. So being involved in this sort of events and DNN Summit and the Connect one, the last one that I was actually able to go, it did make me realize that, you know, I use DNN from a totally different perspective because I use it to build websites, create the content, help clients to understand how people search their goods and services on the internet, and create the structure for that website. And DNN is in the background for all of that. And it's been definitely a game changer. From my knowledge, and I've been trying, and I'm trying to be as active as possible in the community. But in Costa Rica, I don't know anybody else who use the platform. And I know there are a couple of companies in Argentina, Colombia, and I don't know if there's other country in Latin America, but it's a lot of growing space here to use it. So it's very excited. I've been working on several projects. One of them is one university down here in Costa Rica that we've been working on the website for over, what, 8 months now, because it's a lot of content that they want to publish. But for me, it's kind of different, you know, because I focus on DNN on the public side. You know, most of my clients, I'm the one who manage their websites, and I take care of the updating content. But then we're jumping into Google Analytics, Google Ads, Google Search Console, Facebook, ads on business, on Facebook Business, TikTok as well. So it's pretty interesting to see the whole cycle, you know, and get to a point where, and we have a couple of customers like that, and they have 8-9 years with us now, where we know this, the queries, the search, the keywords people use the most here in Costa Rica for that service. That client is on the first position at Google, and we know that keyword specifically triggers a lot of search because we have data from Search Console, we have data from Google Ads, and then we do some other interesting things with Google Ads, especially in YouTube and remarketing. So, you know, at the end, what I just want to share with you guys is that from my perspective, that it's quite different. It's very important. It's a key element of my formula, you know, and it's a game changer right now for me because I can offer optimization. I can offer a lot of things that I can control, that I know of, and I can provide to the clients what they need, especially about speed and load time. So, you know, it's always a learning experience for me to be part of all of these chats and all of these events because I learn, and at the end I move that knowledge to my clients. But you know, I see it like a multiverse thing. You know, I'm on a different world from where I'm at. But you know, I haven't developed any modules. I was a programmer a long time ago, over 12-13 years ago, and I'm focusing on web design and SEO and marketing. But I definitely believe that the DNN, it's very important. You know, it's different. It's a different kind of animal, and if you know how to use it, and if you know how to use it, then you're gonna get a lot of advantages from it. You know, but that's pretty much what I wanted to share with you guys, especially for the ones that doesn't know me yet.
Marco, that's a wonderful story to share with us. We hear that type of success story from users on occasion, and we've all benefited in exactly the same way. We are all, you know, business owners who run sites and run client projects on DNN, and if we weren't building and using and working in DNN every day, I don't know what we would be doing. And I haven't looked around for anything else because I'm very happy with every single bit of everything I can do in DNN. And it's wonderful to hear the success and the pride in what you're able to do with your customers. You mentioned that you do every semester you do a report with your clients. That's interesting. I like that idea. Maybe another time, share with us a little bit about what you put into those. I could imagine doing that more with my clients instead of randomly connecting with them. If I did it on a regular basis and told them some things about their sites and about what they've been doing, it'd be a good positive touch point with them. I very much like that idea.
We do that monthly.
You do that monthly?
Actually,
interesting.
Yeah, actually, the way we do it, it's focused on search.
Yes.
So the idea of the report is to make the business owner get to know how the end user behaves at Google search. So the whole report, focuses on get to know your client, get to know the person who visits your website, because some content is not popular, some other is very popular. And from that information, you can definitely make grounded decisions
From a marketing
to
standpoint.
optimize content, marketing and so on. But yeah, definitely we can chat later.
Yeah, because a lot of clients presume way too much about their users. They think they know their users,
Yeah,
but.
or what
you know,
they're
that's-
doing on the
yeah.
website, or whatever they're looking for.
Yeah, it's great to look at real data. Yeah.
Well, Mark, we've had you on and off. You're walking through the woods. Maybe you're walking in a park, heading from your car somewhere. Can you hear us okay? You want to say hi?
I can hear you. I'd love to say hi. So,
Hi.
guys, I want to echo what Marco just said. I think all those things apply to me as well. So thank you for saying it for me as well. I'm going to leave the camera off because it would be pretty disorienting to see all this scenery going by like this. Trying to get in a few miles before the day is out.
Very nice.
So what I've been doing, guys, I had the opportunity to jump into XMod a while ago, probably sometime after you did, Ryan. But I wound up landing on the DNN Sharp stuff, and now I'm in PlantNet pretty heavy. So I probably have, I don't know, close to 100 different applications going with PlantNet going on. I got a lot of data. I'm data heavy and report heavy and functionality with data heavy. Like, for example, a site I'm running right now, doing a photo contest where it uploads photos, just keeps track of who uploaded them. And then there's private voting, and then there's public voting. Keep track of all that. So, and I know you can picture all that, but I'm just giving an idea. That's the kind of thing that I like working on. It's the kind of thing I have multiple applications doing. I'm working on software as a service all over the place. There's my focus. I'm heavy PlantNet. I wish it were XMod sometimes.
Yeah.
But PlantNet's where I am.
Very cool, Mark. Well, thank you. Thank you very much. Always a pleasure to see you. And there we go. Boy, you're in some beautiful scenery. Fantastic. And maybe it's not 100 degrees where you are, because at least the last couple of days it's felt like it here.
Little better.
It was just a
Today
few
was very
days ago. I was in Dallas, and there was no walking going on there. So now that I'm back home, we can do that again. So thanks,
Sherman.
guys.
Absolutely. Sherman, you are up next. And I got to tell you, if I shared my screen right now, I have 2 emails that I'm writing you that are on my desktop that I haven't finished typing and I need to send. So I have 2 emails going out to Sherman for good questions he's asked me recently. Sherman, hi, how are you? What have you been up to lately?
Hey, I'm real good. I don't know why I've used Zoom and all that. I don't know why my camera isn't working. But I'm actually in a bunker in Colorado.
Oh, wow.
Oh, nice.
Actually, for what it's worth, I'm probably dirt under y'all's feet is what it gets down
Nothing
to.
of the sort. We are a DNN community of people just like Mark and Marco were explaining. They're DNN integrators. They use DNN. You don't have to be a developer. We are a community of people. I kind of thread that line there in between. We've got people everywhere. So I will not abide anyone saying that someone is lower than or different than. Yep. We're a community of folks who are enthusiasts on DNN. There we go.
Well, I am an enthusiast. And I do want to shout out to you guys. I try to surround myself with brilliance, so maybe some will rub off. And I'm blessed that you guys are actually devoting your time. I've been a business owner for years, government, the whole 9 yards. So no, I really respect you guys, and I'm trying to stay out from underneath your feet so you can keep moving forward with the great platform. For what it's worth, I did kind of mess with DNN. I'm going to say back in probably 2009. Just a little background for myself. I'm a lot like Marco. I started out programming back in 91. My background's mostly desktop, and then I went to barcode. I introduced barcode to like Corning, and then I moved to smart cards for the government. And so Jim, if he's still there, I've been doing a lot of the government stuff, but now I've moved back and started my own company is what it gets down to. And I'm just trying to bring the oil field, believe it or not, to DNN. And so I use DNN more as a, I'm poor on as far as web development coming from the desktop. So basically I use DNN as my hub, but I've been able to tie like RoboHelp into it. And that was no easy task to start off with. RoboHelp, Adobe, they want to sell you some sort of a server for $6,500 a month. And I just tied it right to DNN. So basically, I'm just struggling. I hope you guys understand it. And I'm not trying to get in your way. I'll be a fly on the wall. I learn everything. I've damn near watched every video you've got because I've got a lot of things to catch up.
Sure,
but a lot of this is, I hate to say it, outdated. And Ryan, I'm not going to beat you up, but there's a lot of bad links across all of this. You click on it and the link's dead. And I'm trying to figure out, well, did they abandon this?
No. One of the things that I'm working on for Sherman is updating our contact us because it has the original older CAPTCHA in it and it's just finally died and doesn't work anymore. So I'm like, oh man, let's update this. Let's update that.
Southern Fried side? Oh, okay, yeah.
Hey, and I bought your CAPTCHA, Ryan. I bought the new one, but I'm too dumb to figure out how to weld it in there.
I'm in the middle of installing it onto SoFri. Yeah, that's what my emails are about. Let me help get you connected. You'll be in good shape.
Well, I appreciate it. And I just want to say at the end of the day, though, I really appreciate you guys. And probably along with what Marco's saying there. I'm kind of running parallel, not in Latin America, and we got a little bit different stuff going on, but a lot of, I just do this shout out. There's a lot of features built into DNN, and I don't want to beat up DNN. It's the greatest thing I've ever seen. And I'll guarantee you there was a reason why I came back to it as soon as I come up for air. But a lot of these modules, they're putting, I'm going to put it this way, too many bells and whistles. There ought to be a way to just turn off all the social stuff. I'm dealing with people trying to read federal regulations and it's lawyer talk, and they don't need to know. I'm not going to vote on that. There is no vote.
No sharing it. Facebook, yeah, you're not going to share it with somebody.
Well, and that's what I'm trying to get at. And I found that's probably one of my biggest challenges. Every module's got something fancy. I can share it with Facebook. I don't need to share it with Facebook. And I spend more time trying to rip everything out than it occurred to. So that's just my take on it. But no,
that's a good.
Thank you for allowing me to be here.
Absolutely, Sherman. You and anyone else who's following along at home and watching it later. That's the point of why we do SoFri. It's why we started doing it back when I started doing it in 2010, and you were doing it before then, David. Was we enjoy connecting with people. We enjoy sharing problems. If I got a problem, maybe David's fixed it already, and I can bend his ear and learn about it. So we're all teaching each other. But at the end of the day, I started this meeting today sitting down next to David, and I was saying, I'm tired. I'm tired of I'm not tired of the work that I do. I'm not tired of the tools that I use. I'm just tired of the grind of work and clients and the static of all the problems that always happen that are unrelated to anything that anyone did on purpose. I'm just tired. I don't feel tired right now. I feel energized. I feel happy because what we do and what we commit with our time is worth it. And I hear the echo with Sherman and Marco and everyone, and man, that'll get me going for the next 6 months. So that's what this is for, is we all commit to share with each other and help each other out. And here we just crossed 8 o'clock. I think that's a great wrap up to our meeting. David didn't go. I went first.
I was waiting for my spot.
David's right back around again. Okay, after Sherman is David next up. David, what have you been up to lately?
I'm going to make it quick, but this is cool because we can finally talk about it.
Yeah.
Let me share my screen here real quick.
While you're loading up, let me, in case you need 2 seconds while you're loading up.
Nope.
I was talking with 2 different clients in the past, let's say 2 months. And they said something, and I hope you don't mind. My skin is built off of Envy Quick Theme.
Oh, really?
And I said, don't mind. Every theme that I start off with, if I'm doing a custom theme, it's built on Envy Quick Theme. That's fantastic that you built on Envy Quick Theme.
Great.
And they're like, oh, that's okay. And I'm like, okay, that's what we prefer. That's fantastic. Well done, job. So but I share that with you.
Awesome. Now, one of the things that I've been working on for, gosh, Daniel, how long has it been now? Almost 3 years, basically.
Well, if you tell me the
Uh,
subject, maybe I can answer that.
Well, if you were in front of your computer, you'd be able to see it. But, no,
This is the
so listen, a lot of you that have been in the DNN community for a while will probably know Clint Patterson, right?
right.
Okay, Clint's been up to stuff.
Yeah.
For about 3 years, we've been building this, and it's now launched out of beta and is being used by hunters and processors of game across the US here. And it's now launched. It's on the App Store. This is revolutionizing a niche industry.
Who need to communicate in a very specific way.
It is a disruptor in this space, and people are like freaking out. It's growing like wildfire. But it's essentially a mobile app with a DNN backend that allows a hunter, when they're out in the field, they've got a game, they've either a hog hunter or a deer hunter, or maybe you're out west and you're hunting elk or something like that. Well, when you do that, you need to be able to process the meat. So they use these meat processors, and everybody, depending on where they're at, they've got a choice of different meat processors. So the hunters are checking in their game and then taking it to the processor, dropping it off. The processor is processing it. They're using the app to run their entire business, and they
to bring them business, feed them business, and then allow them to alert and communicate.
So the biggest thing is communication is a very tough thing for a lot of these processors. A lot of them are doing 100 to over 1,000 animals a year in their processing, and they have to shut down quite frequently. Why? Well, their freezers are full and nobody's coming and picking up their meat. Why don't they come and pick up their meat? Well, I mean, they're posting on Facebook, they're trying to call them on the phone. I don't know about you, but I get so many spam calls now. I don't answer the phone unless I have that number programmed in and I know who it is. These people are like this as well. The people have become numb to phone calls. They don't answer the phone anymore. So they're not getting their meat picked up in time, and it's costing these processors a crap load of money to run these freezers and keep them up and running. Not only that, they can't do any more processing because they don't have any room to put the meat. So this has been really, really cool to watch, and it's a very it feels simple to use, and it's very complex behind the scenes.
That's very cool.
Really kind of cool. But he's got quite a few videos out here, so you can kind of check out the videos and things like that. But that's been a really fun project that we've been working on. Daniel's been doing a lot of the back end work, and I've been doing the mobile app work, and it's really fun to see something. I would say blood, sweat, tears in this.
Could we encourage Clint to come on maybe 2 months out, 3 months out, and do a little bit of a demo of the DNN side of it and talk about and share? I think that would be very nice content.
Yeah, very cool.
Just to throw out there how about other projects and things? What are you focusing on, or what do you
want to say? We're busy like you.
Yep.
You were mentioning how much work there is right now. Very busy. It's a good problem to have, but sometimes it can get. I feel like you sometimes. Like I'm tired.
You're worn down. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like
the reserves are empty.
Yeah. I just need a breather for just give me 10 minutes. Just get.
I'll tell my wife sometimes that I feel like I've just finished running a marathon, and right as soon as I've stopped, they're like, we're starting a new marathon right now. You could go ahead and get started. I'm like, but I just finished a marathon. I'm tired.
Yeah.
So just putting it out to the group and anyone else who's online, we'd love to hear some suggestions and comments. I threw out that we should invite Clinton to show us the DNN side of this. We've talked with and have kind of an ear in with the Easy DNN folks. It's been a long time since we've talked with them. I don't know that in Southern Fried we've ever talked with them. They've been at some conventions and we've seen them, but haven't really talked to them on here. We'd like for them to come and talk to us. So we've got some conversations going. One of the things that we've asked them to come and present to us is the new ChatGPT integration into Easy DNN News. They have some very interesting things that they've already done. So for instance, in the newer version of Easy DNN News, based on the content of the article that you've written up, if you decide to generate a picture as a thumbnail, it will use the content to try and generate a thumbnail image for you, or select some for you to choose between. But then also, if you give it prompts, it will go ahead and flesh out that content and write it for you. So there's some interesting things that are ChatGPT related that they've been working on, and they've promised that they will come present sometime. It's kind of moved down a couple of months at a time, but I think before the end of the year, we should be able to have them in to talk. But that's a good suggestion there of the types of things that we'd love to have people come talk to us about. If you use a module or use some feature of DNN that you are really interested in learning more about, you'd like to have somebody come in and talk about that, let us know. We need those suggestions. David and I and Clint and everyone else who kind of meets here with us, we've been doing this for several years in a row, and sometimes we forget what's novel or what's new and interesting compared to the things that we've just seen on the regular. And we might not think much about it, but you might say, hey, Ryan, I used to use this gallery module and I don't have a simple slideshow module anymore. What are your favorite slideshow modules? Oh, wow, we haven't talked about that in like 5 years, 6 years.
Yeah.
Why don't we make a meeting about that? I'm just spitballing to say we're looking for content and ideas. Let us know some things you're interested in or things that you'd like for us to help research with you. Let's turn that into content for upcoming SoFries.
That's right.
Yep.
What you said.
Yep.
Well, we're going to wrap up here. And actually, I think, Ryan, are you going to meet the condition of?
Absolutely.
Okay. I told Ryan I can make it happen to do the meeting in person here
tonight,
as long as we are able to celebrate with a little libation or something.
Absolutely. Head out for a little bit of food and a little bit of drink next door or across the street.
I learned that word from a
Libation?
friend of ours that used to say that quite a bit at the end of the meetups.
Was that a
that was
particular,
an Alan Foster
was that a
thing,
particular thing that Alan would say? Is
he would use libation.
He would use libations?
And the other phrase that I picked up from him is, yes, in my copious and free spare time.
Well, our next Southern Fried meeting will be September the 21st. We always meet the third Thursday of every month. We do have a pattern of swapping evening, night and daytime time blocks. This month was going to be daytime, and so next month was going to be nighttime. Should we stick to that and do nighttime again as well next time? Kind of stay.
We'll chat about that.
Okay, yeah. We'll discuss. But so either way, third Thursday of the month, we'll come to you again, and we'll do our best to post this up. Maybe we can even have some transcript help from Zoom, and we'll make even better postings when we get these out.
Should we go old school and actually get somebody to sponsor food for our next in-person meetup? Yeah.
If we can have more than 2 people, I think we could definitely do that.
Hey, what's wrong with that, Julia?
You know what? We have some favorite restaurants we can go fly to. Yeah. Well, thank you very much, everybody. We'll go ahead and end recording, and we'll hang out here for a few more minutes. Sometimes these are the most lively conversations. So if you get a chance and you're watching this at home and a replay, join us in person next month ahead, and you can also join with us in the after the show. Thanks, everyone.
Everybody.
Bye.
Yeah.
Thank you.